almost concluded for the third and final phase of the big Bihar Assembly elections. It's come to an end short while ago. As many as 2 crore 35 lakh voters are deciding the fate of 1,204 candidates in this third and final round. It includes 110 women candidates. Latest voting turnout in the state till 5 p.m. was around 54%. So Bihar is holding firm at about 54-55% across the 3 rounds. 78 constituencies spread across 15 districts in the Kosi Simanchal belt went to polls in this round. We'll know in 3 days from now, on the 10th, who's won the battle. But today, we're going to bring you in a short while from now the Axis My India exit poll data, where the big question will be asked. Will Nitish Kumar return as Chief Minister for the 4th time in a row, be sworn in for the 6th time, or will the anti-incumbency factor hurt Nitish Kumar's chances? Rahul, tell us exactly where the polling has gone on in this phase.
Okay, so let's spend a moment looking at phase 3 and what happened on the third phase of polling. This is the famous India Today election intelligence dashboard, our very own magic wall. 78 out of 243 seats going to the polls today. What I want to spend a moment doing is show you the regions where polling happened. So in Champaran, you had 10 seats where polling happened. The NDA currently holding 7 of those, the RJD holding 2, LJP 0. Then there's the Kosi belt where 13 seats went to polls today. In Mithilanchal, 31 seats went to polls today, and then in Simanchal, 24 seats. So it's in Mithilanchal and Simanchal where the majority of the polling has happened today. And remember, many of these seats are strongholds of the Gathbandhan. This is where the Yadav Muslim combined together form a very, very formidable social coalition. You've got, though, this time round, parties like the AIMIM, the RLSP, the BSP, and Pappu Yadav trying to chip away at these votes. Will that work? Let's spend a moment looking at the strongholds for the various parties in this phase of polling. 16 strongholds for the NDA, and what this essentially means is seats won by that particular coalition in every election over the last 3 elections. Let's take a look at RJD strongholds. There are 4 RJD strongholds, but remember, when you look at this, there have been elections like the one in 2015 and before that in 2010, where especially in 2010, where the RJD did not do well. Let me take you through the swing seats for the third phase of polling. 29 swing seats, seats where the winner has changed in every election over the last 3 elections. 29 of those seats, currently 18 of those held by the RJD and the Congress, 8 held by the NDA. Let's take a look at what's happened in terms of voter turnout in this election so far. Now, Bihar, despite being the one state which has huge political awareness and interest, for some reason doesn't register high polling. I've left out phase 3, but from what we can see so far in previous elections, Bihar simply doesn't register the kind of voter turnout that, for example, neighboring West Bengal does, which is going towards late 70s, early 80s. In Bihar, traditionally and typically, voting turnout has been low. But joining us at this time is the man who the entire country wants to know the answer to. You know, when you see Amitabh Bachchan, you see Kaun Banega Crorepati. When you see Pradeep Gupta, you want to know who's winning Bihar.
Axis My India, and Rahul, 2 things. He's come fitter than he was last time in Delhi. So he's been on a fitness trip, and he's come, as all our guests have, having been tested negative for COVID and observing social distancing.
Everyone here has been tested. In case you're wondering whether we're violating any COVID protocols, we're not, because everyone's got a test. They're all negative. So welcome Javed Ansari, Manisha Prem, Rahul. Pradeep, to you first. You know, you look tense and nervous. And when the main batsman who's going to go out and strike for you looks tense and nervous, then everyone wonders, is there reason for anxiety?
It's an exam time for us. So we prepare and appear in exam. And like politicians, we leave it to the result day, our result also. So let's see.
And it's a tough state to predict, Rahul, because if you see Bihar, it's so fragmented, particularly in recent times. You mentioned some of the parties. You know, Pappu Yadav, an Owaisi, Kushwaha, Maji, and all of them have switched sides. So you can't even use 2015 or 2019 as barometers. You know, that's the problem with this election. But Rahul Verma is with us of the Center for Policy Research, Javed Ansari, a senior journalist, Manisha Prem, senior political analyst, and our reporters are also there. They're at Nitish Kumar's residence, we have Sujit Kumar Jha, we have Maushmi Singh at Tejasvi Yadav's residence, and we have Rahul Srivastav, who is joining us there at the moment also. First you, Maushmi, how are you? When Lalu was the candidate, there always used to be color around Lalu's house. Are we seeing any of that color today? Are they all anticipating this exit poll at Tejasvi's house?
I'm doing fine, Rajdeep, right here in Bihar, and you're right, Bihar never misses out on the colors. But yes, this is perhaps the election lag that we are seeing. Even as backroom meetings are on, the colors are a bit changed, because now Tejasvi Yadav is at the helm of affairs, and you can see that Bihar ke do Anmol Ratan, that board describes it all, how Tejasvi has really led the campaign for the RJD. But importantly, will he actually, beat the Vikas Purush of JDU? That's the big question. And the lantern that we used to see during Lalu's time when he was the chief minister, and then at Rabri's time, is still there. It's the old lantern, but it's lost its sheen.
There.
And will it regain the sheen and the light?
It's there, but there's no Lalu.
Rajdeep.
There's no Lalu even on that poster. There was Tejasvi and Tej Pratap, no Lalu. Sujit ji, आप बताइए, नीतीश कुमार जी आपके अलावा बहुत कम लोगों से मिलते हैं, किस तरह के मूड में हैं नीतीश जी?
देखिए राजदीप जी, चुनाव प्रचार समाप्त होने के बाद वो हमसे भी नहीं मिले हैं, न बातचीत हुई है, और फोन पे भी नहीं आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनका कहना है कि वो अब रिजल्ट के बाद ही बातचीत करेंगे। सबसे बड़ी बात कि जो उन्होंने आखिरी अपना जो बयान दिया था, बयान क्या कहेंगे, भाषण दिया था, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि ये मेरा आखिरी चुनाव है, तो उसको लेकर काफ़ी लोगों में स्थिति थी कि क्या मामला क्या है, क्या चाहते क्या है वो। हालांकि जब बातचीत हुई तो लोगों का कहना है, वो उन्होंने डायरेक्टली तो नहीं कहा, लेकिन जो उनके लोग हैं उनका कहना है कि वो स्लिप ऑफ टंग था, और कोई भी पॉलिटिशियन रिटायर नहीं होता है, कोई रिटायरमेंट का एज तो होता नहीं है, तो इसलिए वो हर रैली में ये बात कह रहे थे कि ये आखिरी चुनाव प्रचार है और ये आखिरी मेरी चुनावी सभा है। लेकिन उस दौरान उन्होंने कहा कि ये मेरा आखिरी चुनाव है।
सर, कोई
तो इसको लेकर बहुत सारी बातें हुई, विपक्ष की तरफ से भी बातें हुई। और
सुजीत भाई, किसी भी नेता का स्लिप ऑफ टंग नहीं होता कि आखिरी चुनाव है, तो कहीं ना कहीं कुछ तो गड़बड़ है। बट मनीषा प्रियम, जावेद अंसारी, राहुल वर्मा, give us a sense, is this really the last election you think for Nitish Kumar? Should he lose, for example, would it be the end of the road, Javed, for him?
No, I don't think it's the end of the road. People win and lose elections. Mr. Advani, Mr. Vajpayee lost many elections. And
it's not make or break for him?
No, I mean, this
who will run his party in his absence, Javed?
He will run his party, or he'll have somebody else run his party for a short while and then come back. Nitish Kumar is not going to fade into the sunset, let's just be. Lalu has lost so many elections and
Have you ever seen Nitish look so dejected ever?
No, I haven't seen Nitish lose his cool, lose his calm, lose his poise. He's rattled. This is one very uncharacteristic of Nitish, but I do not believe that
you spent so much time with Nitish as well. We've all campaigned with him and seen what he does. This has been a very different Nitish Kumar.
This is a very different Bihar. Look at the nature of what Nitish has done in the last 7 years. 2013, leaves the NDA because Narendra Modi is made Prime Ministerial candidate. 2015, contest with Lalu. 2017, goes back to Modi. 2020, needs Modi at his political rallies to give a sense of legitimacy to Nitish. Look at the transformation. Naturally, Nitish Kumar, in a way, is... the walls are closing in around
But he's
him.
also, Manisha Prem, to a great extent brought it upon himself. By constantly flipping and flopping and somersaulting, he's now acquired the image of being a Paltu Kumar, and that Teflon image that he had, that nothing would touch him, that's no longer seeming to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, that image is definitely gone in this election, and I would say that at the end when he said, "Ye mera akhiri chunav hai," I think he really meant it, because he took his image very seriously. I'm someone who's tracked Nitish Kumar since the 70s, mid-70s. I remember the Sabha when he rose up to Karpuri's call of employment for educated graduates, and he is a civil engineer by qualification. He attended that Sabha. So here's a Karpuri loyalist. Here's someone who's marched and walked the streets of Patna, you know, and at the end of his innings today, being charged of Afsarshahi, being charged of not being on the side of the poor. These are the important critiques. Remember, people are not lying when they make criticisms like this. And then the thing that we've not discussed, the Munger firing that has happened, it's a firing done by a close colleague of Nitish Kumar's, Shri RCP. His daughter's at the helm of affairs there. So today,
no, but
he's
this is
seen as
also
a
when the
strong
election
man.
commission is in charge.
Sure.
But he's seen as a strong man today, who's not a people's person.
What Rahul says is a point that, you know, Nitish Kumar, in a sense, if things don't go his way in the next few days, may only have himself to blame. Because, you know, over the years, people then look at your political career and question your credibility. But what's at stake? Forget, you know, Nitish Kumar is one factor. There's also Tejasvi, the first election in Bihar after what, 20, 30 years with no Lalu as the dominant figure. His son comes in. Is it about Tejasvi versus Nitish, who should be CM, Rahul? Or is there something bigger in this election in Bihar this time?
The bigger quotient is that 2020 election is going to decide the future of Bihar. In a way, this is the end of an era which started in 1990s with 15 years Lalu Yadav and Rabri Devi at the helm of affairs and 15 years Nitish Kumar. This basically ends the socialist era which started. So you
the
have
Mandal era is over or the socialist era?
Mandal socialist both, because these politicians basically came from that tradition. With Ram Vilas Paswan, deceased Sharad Yadav, Lalu Yadav in jail, Nitish Kumar saying last election, this is the end of the old
what's
generation.
the new era? If that's the socialist
new
era,
generation is Tejasvi Yadav, Chirag Paswan, someone from BJP rising. So
no, that's in personality. I'm saying that's in terms, if socialism is the ideology which drove politics over the last 30 years, what era do you think is starting?
That we will have to wait for at least 4 to 5 years, because it will depend upon whoever the next chief minister is, how he or she governs, right? Ideologies are not formed before, they are fermented in the moment of political decisions.
Disagree completely.
You disagree?
Economic justice is the foregrounding of his ideas. And I think the one model that has been completely rejected is a good governance Susasan Babu model. People are saying Susasan mila, road mili, bijli mili, lekin bijli, sadak, pani kafi nahi hai. So there is a jobs inequality, poverty, centering of a left agenda that you can see.
Sure, but let me throw a googly into this. That while we talk of Nitish and Tejasvi, the fact is this is probably the first election where the BJP wants to be the #1 party of Bihar. This is the only North Indian state where the BJP has never been the #1 party. That's why this election is of vital importance to the BJP in its trajectory. Rahul Srivastav, you've been on the ground. Give us a sense. Is the BJP, after its defeats last year in Jharkhand, coming down, erosion of support in Haryana, what happened post-poll in Maharashtra, the decimation in Delhi, is this Bihar election being seen as the BJP's entry into Bihar as party #1? Is that how the BJP perceives it?
Rajiv, if you look at what Manisha said, Manisha has said something very important, that Nitish Kumar's announcement regarding being his last poll is, I think, also related to the rise of the BJP and the intent of the BJP. Nitish Kumar realizes that at one time the EBC, Metal Brahmin, and that formation, caste formations which exist in Bihar that helped the left, Congress and others, it slipped into his hand. He got the EBC votes. And now there is a situation in which the BJP has been able to corner a vote bank and create a presence in Bihar, especially in a scenario, Rajiv. This time around, there are more variables in Bihar elections, I think, than in the past. Usual flood is there, but there were migration earlier, but this time there have been 2 migration forced on the people. People came here, faced hardship. Then beyond that, you have got Nitish Kumar, when he switched from the NDA to go with the Gathbandhan, it was in sync with what Nitish Kumar had maintained, that he is anti-Modi and he is secular. But this time around when he switched, it is going against the basic understanding among his vote bank, and that is why the BJP vote bank is confused, the JD vote bank is confused, a lot of caste equations are confused, and All this put together with AIMIM, Papu
Chirag
Yadav
Paswan
and others are muddying the picture. In that scenario, the BJP senses it as a chance in future better than Nitish Kumar.
You know, there was a moment, Rahul, in this campaign which I thought was interesting a couple of days ago. Yogi Adityanath comes to Bihar and makes a strong pitch that we will drive out infiltrators. Nitish Kumar, within 24 hours, tweets and makes a comment saying, "Is tarah," without mentioning Yogi's name.
District.
Yeah, without mentioning Yogi's name, says, "Is tarah ki bhasha nahi ho sakti rajniti mein." You see, Nitish has gone through this process of, I think, where his identity crisis. You know, he faces a serious identity crisis. Who is he? What does he represent? And you've got these new forces. We've not discussed Chirag Paswan. I mean, I still wonder what prompted Chirag Paswan to take on Nitish. Does he have the blessings of the BJP?
I wonder the opposite.
No, I'm asking you, does he have the blessings of the
Rajiv,
BJP?
that's not the right question. The right question is, why couldn't the BJP and the JDU find a way of accommodating Chirag Paswan? Letting him go suddenly muddied the election campaign.
No, that's what I'm asking you. Does he have the blessings of the BJP to take on the Nitish Kumar?
To this, the top leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party says, we tried our best. जितनी चादर है उतना पैर फैलाना चाहिए. He wanted to extend his feet beyond the length of his sheet, and therefore we didn't have space for him, and therefore he went. While there may be a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, is that going to backfire? Because ultimately, if you see the entire commentary in the build-up to this campaign, when COVID was on, this was supposed to be a sure shot win for the NDA. Suddenly now, BJP leaders are also wondering, are we ahead, are we losing?
No, I agree with you, Rahul, but the fact is that the BJP, LJP, JDU led in 225 of the 243 segments. If you transpose 223, if you transpose Lok Sabha onto Vidhan Sabha.
But that's meaningless.
No, but the fact is, therefore, that now that we are talking also of an election race, in itself shows how things have changed. Let's get in Sandeep Shastri, who also joins us. Sandeep Shastri, you know, Lok Sabha elections held, what, 18 months ago? BJP-led alliance won 39 out of 40. The only seat that was won by the Congress in Katiyar, Muslim-dominated area of Bihar. The rest was swept. Kishanganj. In Kishanganj, that was the only Muslim-dominated area where the Congress won. 39 out of 40. And now we are talking of an election with great excitement. What has changed? What do you believe is the biggest change between 2019 and 2020?
Rajdeep, we have seen this for quite some time now. National elections having its trajectory and state elections having their trajectory. I think this Bihar election will also show whether state leadership, that is Nitish versus Tejaswi, is the critical factor, or the central leadership of the BJP continues to dominate. I think there is enough evidence to show that the rise of the Gathbandhan in Bihar, the competition that the Gathbandhan is giving to the NDA, in spite of the Prime Minister's rallies, I think very clearly state elections have their own momentum, state elections have their own issues, and this has time and again been proved. And even though they won all the seats save one in the Lok Sabha election, I think the assembly elections is seeing a very, very stiff contest. And the way the body language of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar clearly indicates that the NDA leadership at the state level is on the back foot, and the body language of Tejaswi Yadav clearly indicates that they see the opportunity to come in and grab the momentum.
You want to explain that, Pradeep Gupta? When you look at a general election, it's the same voter. The same voter has voted overwhelmingly for the BJP, LJP, JDU combined. Does he look at a Vidhan Sabha very differently?
Yes, because Rajdeep, the issues are different. For a common man, the issues are different in central national election and local state election.
He doesn't see Mr. Modi as this, because as the dominant figure?
Because whatever Modi is delivering, anyway is delivering in the capacity of Prime Minister for the central government. But now time has come for the state, and there are different issues and delivery system when it comes to the state
Rahul,
government.
is that a big transformation you're seeing in Indian elections? Because when Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister, she could pull up the states also, except in the last few years, when she started losing. NTR, Ramakrishna Hegde started winning. Do you believe now Indian politics looks at state and center very, very differently?
Yes, I think this has been a turnaround in last 5-6 years. First, what was happening, that states became the principal arena of politics in 90s. So, as Yogendra Yadav famously said, you were not choosing the Prime Minister even in the national election. That's why you were getting a fragmented polity. What happens after 2014 with the rise of Prime Minister Modi and much more coordinated central campaigning, the voter knows that in national election, I'm choosing a Prime Minister, there are different issues, national issues involved, national security issues become involved. When it comes to the state election, they know we are choosing.
But double engine. Modi says it's a double engine.
No, that's a campaign promise.
No, but there's a difference. It's double engine, but here, as Tejasvi said in his speeches, aapne to double engine dekh liya na. That's the difference. If you listen to Tejasvi's speeches, he says you've seen what a double engine can or cannot do. There is currently a double engine for the last 3 years.
Rahul, why are we surprised? In the past as well, we've seen that Mr. Modi alone, wherever he's not the candidate and where they don't have a very strong or popular state leader, he's not been able to pull them to victory. We saw that in Delhi, we saw that in Jharkhand, we've seen it in the past. When Mr. Modi is the candidate, when in a general elections they're deciding who will be Prime Minister, then he manages.
We didn't see it in Modi 1.0. In Modi 1.0, the BJP wins Maharashtra. 1 minute.
They lost Bihar.
No, 1 minute.
Modi
They lost Bihar.
They lost Bihar.
No, they lost Bihar. But I have a different point. I have a point.
They lost Rajasthan. They lost Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh.
In the first year after Mr. Modi came to power, it appeared Mr. Modi was able to pull up the BJP wherever he went. Now you've got governments, you see, now it's opposite.
Not Delhi.
Because BJP
was an exception.
BJP was in opposition in most states.
That's the thing.
So when Modi plays the challenger,
that's the point.
He
okay,
plays.
so in case
he was Prime Minister, they had the Delhi elections and they were routed.
So in case our viewers are wondering, you know, these guys are going on amidst themselves. When will they tell us what's happening? So let me just give our viewers a sense of what to expect. Till 6:30, we can't show you any results. We have the results here with us. We can't show them to you, so we must just kind of build up. What we'll start doing at 6:30 p.m. is we'll show you the results for the by-polls. There's Madhya Pradesh, there is Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat most notably, but in all there are 56 assembly seats where by-polls have happened across 11 states. Now the majority of these and the most crucial of them is in Madhya Pradesh, where 28 seats have gone to polls. We'll start with Madhya Pradesh in about 5 minutes from now.
It's interesting because I think these by-polls also, Rahul, reflect the churning that's going on in Indian politics. Most of these by-polls have been necessitated by the fact that politicians have switched sides and actually contested now either on a Congress ticket or a BJP ticket, mostly BJP. They've switched from the Congress, gone to the BJP, lost their membership, and the BJP is giving them tickets. So you see how Indian politics today, ideology matters very little. Jyotiraditya Scindia is one of the main sort of faces in Madhya Pradesh because he's 16 of his or 22 of his MLAs who switch sides are all in the race in this by-poll. So I think these by-polls are not ordinary by-polls necessitated by death. These are necessitated by defection, which is more interesting.
He has the most at stake as far as the Madhya Pradesh by-polls go.
Sure.
Because if he, there are 22 of his candidates contesting, and if he cannot ensure their victory, then his own stature within the BJP.
But remember, the asking rate for the BJP is only 9.
For the BJP is only 8.
They need to win 9, and then they're through. They have a majority.
But
as far as Jyotiraditya Scindia is concerned,
within the BJP is
16 of these 22 seats are in the Gwalior Chambal belt, and therefore he needs to demonstrate that he can carry his belt from the Congress to the BJP.
Traditionally, ruling party wins by-polls, Pradeep, would I be right in saying that?
That is right.
66% of the time, especially when...
What is it, 66% of the time?
Especially when you have the same party at the center and the state level.
So 2 in every 3 of by-polls are won by the ruling party normally. Yes, Pradeep?
But only difference here is this is happening because of defection. So this, as Rahul mentioned, this is the Chambal region which is supposed to be very strong bastion of Congress. So that is interesting to be seen whether people are going with their leaders or they are still with the party.
You know, we've seen it in Karnataka where they've gone clearly with the leader. Whichever party that leader goes with, the voters go with them. And I think that's because also the role of money plays a very important role in by-polls now. You know, I think the leader carries the resources to be able to win an election.
But to some extent in Madhya Pradesh, if you travelled after the elections, there was also the fact that people were rueing that they'd let Mamaji go. some of them galti kar di. They were frustrated and irritated during the campaign. They just wanted to see the back of him, many of the voters. Once they saw the new government and how things changed on the ground, did they start then missing the BJP rule of Shivraj Singh Chauhan?
Yeah, because Shivraj ji very successfully, he is like Susasan Babu of Madhya Pradesh, and he has delivered in all the fronts in Madhya Pradesh in 15 years, and there was hardly any anti-incumbency during 2018 assembly elections, and very narrowly they lost. In fact, the vote share was 41% for both BJP and Congress. The seat difference was 5 seats.
Okay, we're going to start hitting the numbers soon. And remember, as Rahul said, we're going to build up to this.